Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal. Patch 10.1 is right around the corner, arriving to Dragonflight in less than 2 weeks, meaning that time is running out, with everyone still searching for the next class to main during Season 2. Embers of Neltharion brings with it a lot of changes, with a new raid, new Mythic Plus dungeons, and a massive revamp to Dragonflight PvP. Recently, I've been getting messages from you guys asking me which classes are looking the strongest for PvP so far heading into the patch 10.1, with many of you hoping to pick up a powerful playstyle, usually something fun and enjoyable, but more importantly a class which will have an easier time finding a competitive footing in rated arena content. Though as of right now, no class PTR tuning is final, and it's difficult to tell which class will ultimately come out the strongest until we get the official tuning announcement. However, we can go over the classes which are seeing the biggest improvements so far for PvP for the patch 10.1, highlighting the playstyles which are gaining new defensive options, greater group utility, and new gameplay possibilities based on the most up-to-date PTR changes, in case you were interested in picking up a class with the potential to succeed for the patch 10.1. But right before we dive into the list of classes which are looking quite favorable and improved for PvP in the patch 10.1, most of you guys watching these videos are still not subscribed. However, the more of you remind, the more of you do, so let's keep it going. Subscribe to the channel and ring the bell if you're watching these videos anyway, especially if you want to get more regular content regarding all of the newest Dragonflight updates and changes going forward. The first class seeing PvP improvements is the Hunter, with patch 10.1 seeking to improve their build variety. Defensive talents like Survival Tactics and Roar of Sacrifice are found in almost any Hunter loadout, which improves on their survivability but stifles gameplay options. Patch 10.1 moves Roar of Sacrifice into the class talent tree, which shares a node with Hunter's Avoidance, both of which are fairly easy to talent into. This frees up a PvP talent slot for all three Hunter specs to utilize, together with the revamped PvP options. All Hunters gain access to the revamped defensive talent of Interlope, which allows you to misdirect the next 3 hostile spells to your pet within 10 seconds, as long as that pet is within 20 yards of a friendly target. Marksmanship Hunters gain access to Ranger's Finesse, which has been updated. Casting Aim Shot builds stacks of Finesse. At 3 stacks, you can spend them on either a volley to increase its duration and radius by 50%, or on a bursting shot to make it more effective at keeping enemies at bay. Survival Hunters gain access to sticky tar bombs, which instantly disarms your target. After a moment, the tar bomb explodes, disarming all nearby foes found near the explosion, which allows for better control capabilities. All 3 Hunters also gain a decent tier set, focused on dealing damage from a safe range, which is extremely important for every spec, even to the spec of Survival. All 3 tier set bonuses also focus on instant cast abilities, which allows for specs like Marksmanship to maintain more mobility. The class of Death Knight has also seen new improvements in the patch 10.1, which will impact their defensives, group utility, and overall damage output. First of all, both specs of Frost and Unholy are gaining decent tier set bonuses, which increases the output of Frosty Obliterates, Shadowy Diseases, and Armies of Undeath. Death Knights are renowned as an anti-caster class, capable of reducing magic damage through various absorbs, while shutting down mages and warlocks with crippling silences. Though Death Knights are not as effective against physical damage, while their ironclad armor provides partial protection, most warriors, rogues, and feral druid bleeds can eventually wear down their defenses. The new PvP talent of Blood-Forged Armor allows them to momentarily fortify themselves, increasing their survivability against physical ailments after using a Death Strike. And while the defensive buff is quite short, a well-timed Death Strike could mean the world between surviving a fatal blow or falling in combat. Death Knights also gain additional group utility with the reward version of Spell Warden, which allows you to place anti-magic shell on a friendly target, shielding them from any danger, be it a powerful all-consuming chaos bolt or a crowd control effect like Mage's Polymorphs, Warlock's Spheres, or Hunter's Freezing Trap. Unholy Death Knights become a master summoner of undead minions in the patch 10.1, with the revamped talent of Reanimation. which spawns zombies that slowly march towards your target. Once they're close enough, they explode after a 3-second delay, stunning all targets for 3 seconds while dealing 20% of the maximum health in damage. These zombies can no longer be stopped by the enemy target, but they can be evaded if you move out of their explosion range. Though most death knights can easily lock you down, with frosty disorients, stuns, and crippling slowing effects. Next we have the class of Evoker, which naturally gains additional group value in the patch 10.1. With Season 2, every class sees adjustments to their crowd control capabilities, with most control effects losing out on base duration. Stuns, disorients, and incapacitation effects are being reduced down to 3, 4, and 6 seconds at the longest. The Evoker's talent of Oppressing Roar shatters your target's resolve, making them 50% more vulnerable to crowd control effects, which allows for an obvious synergy between Evokers and a control class like Rogues, Mages, Hunters, Warlocks, and many others, which helps increase Evokers' overall group viability. Besides this, Evokers also gain additional group utility, with Time Stop immunity gaining a shorter cooldown. The talent of Dreamcatcher removes the cooldown from Sleep Walk, which allows Evokers to gain a spammable sleep effect which can be used to aggressively control enemy targets. We also see the return of Divide and Conquer, which has been redesigned. Deep Breath forms curtains of fire, which prevent line of sight for 6 seconds, creating more control on the battlefield. These firewalls can be breached, though enemies will take heavy damage when they pass right through them, allowing for better zone denial. Next, we see continued improvements for the class of Monk, starting with big updates for the spec of Windwalker. Windwalker monks often find themselves playing the talent of Turbo Fist in all situations, which stifles build variety. This talent has been adjusted. Fist of Fury will passively cleave to all targets for 90% of the damage you deal to your primary target within PvP, greatly increasing its baseline output. Turbo Fist will still retain its slowing and defensive properties, becoming more situational rather than a mandatory choice. Windwalkers also gain a new PvP talent of Storm Spirit Strikes. Cleaving additional targets with Fists of Fury summons a Storm Spirit to assist you in combat. The spirit will focus on a secondary target, mimicking 25% of all damage you deal to that target, greatly increasing your cleave capabilities. Next, we have even more updates coming to the healing Mistweaver Monk, which has gained more control, buff protection, as well as group utility. Similar to Windwalkers, Mistweavers find themselves relying on certain PvP talents in all types of situations, specifically the talent of Chrysalis, which reduces the cooldown of Life Cocoon. Chrysalis is being moved into the spec talent tree, making it easier to reach while freeing up a PvP talent slot. New PvP talents have also been added in the patch 10.1, with the talent of Fey Accord empowering the Fistweaver playstyle, reducing the cooldown of Fey Stomp down to 10 seconds, while also granting it additional movement reductions. Dome of Mist creates a dispel protection for any allies affected by enveloping mists, which allows you to retain consistent recovery. And finally, we have Zen Spheres. The Mistweaver will be able to place 2 spheres, one for the ally and one for the enemy. Allies with the Sphere of Hope gain 15% additional healing from the Mistweaving Monk. Enemies afflicted by Sphere of Despair deal 10% less damage to the Mistweaver and become more vulnerable to all damage sources. The final class seeing improvements for the PvP in the patch 10.1 is the Totemic Shaman, with all 3 specs gaining powerful tier set bonuses, focused around Stormkeeper gameplay for Ellie, sundering your foes as enhancement, and empowering Healing Rain as restoration. Initially, the rest of tier set doesn't seem all that good for PvP, as using Healing Rain in rated content like arenas and battlegrounds is very uncommon. The new PvP talent of Rain Dance makes Healing Rain cast instantly, becoming 20% more effective while extracting 30% less mana from the Shaman, making it far more usable. Shamans gain a new PvP talent of Burrow, which is accessible by all 3 playstyles. Burrow allows you to descend underground for a short moment, becoming immune to nearly all damaging attacks, increasing your movement speed by 50% for a handful of seconds. When Burrow ends, you erupt back to the surface, spiking all targets above you, knocking them up into the air while dealing moderate physical damage. This talent gains obvious defensive value, which allows shamans to remove themselves from danger momentarily or chase after enemy targets. The knockup effect can be used both offensively and defensively, with the physical damage modified by a handful of talents. Elemental shamans become the masters of lava and lightning with the new Volcanic Surge talent. Volcanic Surge replaces Lava Surge, where Flame Shocks can empower your next lightning spell, reducing its cast time by up to 50%. This playstyle creates a trade-off, where shamans sacrifice a good portion of their mobility while drawing additional power from the elements around them. Enhancement gains a new talent of Stormweaver, which allows them to use their Maelstrom weapon stacks more aggressively. Usually, most enhancement shamans will hold the primary resource of Maelstrom in PvP, saving it in case they ever require healing, and only using it offensively when they are far from danger. Stormweaver forces you to spend Maelstrom aggressively. Each stack of Maelstrom generates a stack of Stormweaver. Stormweaver works just like Maelstrom, but only towards you healing effects. In a way, you gain double the Maelstrom value, which allows you to unleash the elements more freely without losing out on its defensive uses in combat. And for now, that's going to be the full list of classes receiving some of the biggest improvements for PvP so far in the patch 10.1. I want to thank all of you guys so much for watching this video and hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Have you already settled on which class you're looking to main for the PvP in the Season 2? Or are you still shopping around? And if so, which playstyles are currently on your radar? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. As per usual, if you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. And as always, in the description of every single video and live stream, we have a link to our Discord community channel. Probably the best place to reach out to me directly in case you want to let me know what you thought about this video or hang out with the rest of the community to discuss some of the upcoming changes. Join our Discord to become part of the community. But otherwise, thank you all so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. And as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.